Hey guys, it's me Chan Dragon, and today I will do another fun discussion. And actually, Genshin Impact, there's no much content right now. It's very dry, as dry like this Sumeru desert in here. So yeah, but I keep kind of want to train my English speaking since I'm in here not really speaking English. So because of that, how about I just make another video, another fun video, and this time about is it worth for you to pull for C2 Kazuha or even go all out, or is it actually overrated or overhyped by the people, or just even safe for the future character just because we know that Fontaine will come soon though. So let's get started then. Before we go directly into is it C2 Kazuha is actually overrated or still have good value to pull, how about we kind of discuss first about the pros and cons about C2 though, or what actually makes C2 is good or what that actually makes C2 is not that really good anymore. So let's talk about the positive or the pros one about C2 Kazuha. Is first that you will get 8% of elemental damage bonus plus 200 EM for Kazuha itself or for the active party inside the burst. So similar kind of Nahida. So if you're kind of inside the burst, you will get like bonus EM, something like that. So let's say we take an example Yaemiko. Yaemiko, you have like 20% electro damage bonus. With C2 Kazuha, you get like 28 elemental damage, electro damage bonus with plus 200 EM, which is actually pretty good though. So if you kind of need like character that you want to buff the EM, then yeah, C2 pretty much kind of help. And basically C2 Kazuha also provides some of the noticeable upgrade for certain reaction or situation. So some of them which is vaporize and melt, which is most of the time I see they give the kind of very noticeable upgrade which is quite high jump around 20% if I check from majority of people's video, because I don't have C2 Kazuha yet though, so I cannot really confirm like in my own comparison. So maybe soon in the future I can give you more confirmation, but for so far when I see the average it's around 20%. And I think probably also Aggravate will give you also quite noticeable upgrade, but I cannot really confirm just because I never see actually people have comparison between Z0 Kazuha in Aggravate and C2 Kazuha in Aggravate, so I cannot really confirm. But from what my experience with Kazuha in Aggravate, I think C2 Kazuha can provide also a good noticeable upgrade for the team itself though. So yeah, if you kind of maining kind of vaporize or melt or even probably still aggravate, then I guess this where you feel like Kazuha C2 will kind of feel so much worthy, just because I see they give the most upgrade or the most buff compared to other reaction like electrocharge, and I think overload it's not that much. So if you're maining those kind of reaction, I think this is where you feel that oh, C2 Kazuha is really feels so good. Another benefit if you owning C2 Kazuha is that it's easier for you to make build and support crit at the same time, so mix at the same time, which is it's kind of hard for Z0 Kazuha, which is sometimes you either only go for EM or you only go for crit build, just because like if you have like no really good artifact, it's very hard for you to get a balance like stats if you especially not green that much yet. But if you have C2 Kazuha, it's basically make a lot easier because you can just like cut out like all the 200 EM in your counting, so your requirement also if you're aiming 1000 EM become easier, so you can even focus on building on crit. So it's you make like your personal Kazuha damage is high also, but it still have a super capability, which is it feels like increase in your quality of life, feel more kind of convenient to build both of the build. But let's talk about like the cons or things that you will see that C2 Kazuha is not really give you advantage, which is first that EM source or EM kind of buff source that you want to get right now, it's more accessible compared to before. Like let's say Nahida at C0, it has the capability to buff your EM and burst and even longer and even bigger, so it feels like kind of more affordable, and everything just at C0. You didn't need to go like another like Bane until C2, and other than that already have like different artifact that provide you EM. Let's say Gilded, there's a Paradise Lost Paradise or whatever it is, so you have more option, and other than that weapon become like more accessible in term of like EM stuff also, just because Dendro. And yeah, because of that, you kind of feel like if you want the EM buff, it's more accessible right now compared to before. Because before we are not very limited, but it's relatively limited compared to what we have right now. Right now it's just like wide choice. And the next one is that I feel, in my personal opinion, is that C2 Kazuha is not that as universal like before, just because it's not Kazuha full also, but just like the addition is Dendro, then that means we have another Dendro reaction, right? So if you count from, let's say, from Pyro until Dendro, then it's not that universal anymore, just because Kazuha cannot cover everything. Before, Kazuha can pretty much cover everything besides Geo, but now Kazuha cannot cover besides Geo and couple of the Dendro reaction, let's say kind of Bargain or Hyper Bloom. So because of that, it's become less universal. And also, if you kind of think again, C2 Kazuha basically will not give like 100% benefit to all the reaction also. Just because if you think like, let's say freeze at the most C2 Kazuha can benefit, it's only from the 8% increase of elemental damage bonus, and 200 EM is basically not really that useful, just because 200 EM only kind of make the freeze last longer, which is, for me, it's not that useful. Electrocharge and Overall, I see a couple of the video that they make the comparison between C0 to C2. The increase is not that much, surprisingly. I see it's only around 4 to 5%, which is surprisingly to pulling a character until C2 to increase like 4 to 5% increase in terms of buffing, it's actually too small for me. So if you kind of think again, yeah, C2 Kazuha gives you a noticeable upgrade for Vaporize Belt and probably Aggravate, that still cannot confirm, but other reaction is just like too low. That means the average or the gap between like the highest and the lowest is pretty kind of far. And the last one, this is actually very personal opinion and very biased, just because it's only fulfilling and I don't even know how to describe correctly, but this is about Spiral Abyss. So if you don't care about Spiral Abyss, you can feel free to skip this. But lately I feel Spiral Abyss in terms of difficulty is just become higher. It's not higher just because it requires you a high DPS check, but it more like gimmicky and is kind of restrictive in terms of team building. So it's kind of force you to play in certain gimmick though. So you have to follow like certain gimmick. Like a very good example, like this Abyss though. Like this Abyss, like Pyro is very crucial though. So imagine you don't have any like character that you build in Pyro, then you will kind of struggle. So let's say you fully invested in Bloom. Let's say you already put Constellation, Signature Weapon, and blah blah blah, something like that. And yeah, probably I believe you can clear that Abyss, but I believe it's not as easy if you already bring Pyro though. And probably you will need couple tries, and even can takes like a couple like even hours and hours, even like more than 3 hours. While if you already bring like the Pyro and follow their gimmick, you probably can even finish in 1 try or even 2 or 3 tries at the worst, stuff like that though. Just because the gimmick that Hoyo first makes, it's kind of force you to follow. So if you didn't follow, it just make a lot like worse, but if you follow, it just make a lot easier. Because of that, fully invested like only like 2 teams, let's say you fully invested in your Freeze or Vapors, it's not as good right now as if you have like more like wider selection of your playable character in your party right now. I feel like in terms of DPS check right now, it's also not as high, just because most of the characters at Z0 can perform all the DPS check, and so that's also with Kazuha though. Kazuha is already very good. I feel in terms of DPS, not DPS that he will carry, but DPS for him to support the other character at 0-0, it's already more than enough though. So instead you just focus on pulling another character, then yeah, it's easier for you to follow certain gimmick from Hoyo first though. So let's say if they want Pyro, then you can just follow. If they want Hyper Bloom, you can follow. If you then have Freeze, then you have everything available, just because you have wider range of playable character though in there. So let's jump into the end though. So is it actually C2 Kazuha still provide a good pull value, or is it actually overrated right now? Well, it's actually very depends on you. It's very subjective if you want to feel overrated or not. It's very subjective, but from what I can tell is that I would just say in terms of overall, my personal opinion, that the importance of Kazuha C2 is basically decreasing, just because right now I've buff stuff is basically just very accessible, that you can get like from other even character like C0 Navida, effects, weapon running is more, have even wider selection, so it doesn't feels like you really need that 200 buff EM anymore though, because you can get from other source though. So basically the most that you can get advantage is 8% of elemental damage, which you cannot get in anywhere else though. But if you only think like 8% is not really valuable though, and if you go pull until C2 though. So because of it, yeah, I feel it's kind of decreasing in terms of importance. However, don't get me wrong, C2 Kazuha is still relatively good. Like, in terms of value, it's still relatively good for me though. Especially if you're kind of main in reaction like Vaporize and Melt and probably Aggravate. And I think it's pretty much still valuable for you, and I think you will not even regret though if you still even like trying to go there though. So in the end, if my personal opinion, I would say it's kinda overrated right now in terms of C2 Kazuha, just because for me this current state that Kazuha C2 is not really that is important anymore compared to before. But C0 Kazuha for me it's still important, but C2 it's not anymore though, at least for me. So lastly, take notes that Fontaine will come soon, 4.0 will come soon. So you know that lately Genshin Impact have a leak flute right now. I don't know where it come from, but basically you can see a lot of different character that actually looks cool, but I don't want to leak in here. You just find yourself in Twitter or whatever. But I see a lot of them like good design, and probably it's kind of eye-catching for you. Then I would just say you should start to saving then from now, because I feel I see some of them pretty solid design though. And yeah, and also take notes when Fontaine come for color, which mean the Hydro Archon will come also soon, around maybe 4.1 4.2, like as traditional. Usually card Archon will come around those patch. Then it's almost very soon though. So if you're kind of free to play, then I should say yeah, manage well your Primo Gem spending then. And my additional like opinion is that lately, just the thing that I kind of learned is that Genshin Impact have a very dry patch. It's very dry like Sumeru Desert, and I realized that the only thing that can cure my kind of boringness from dry patch from Genshin Impact is that playing different character though, building different character though. So for me, rather than invested like one single character, like getting more consolation, I kind of feel a little bit regret rather than pulling more character. I would say I kind of regret pulling C3 Yelan, and why I'm not pulling C0 Nilo though. Just because I feel I will have more fun, just because I can play with Nilo right now, and probably I will not so much bored compared to right now though. Although I know Nilo will not contribute to me, but at least it will give me more fun kinda in order to kinda overcome this dry patch from Genshin Impact itself though. But in the end, it's your choice, it's your account. This is just like my fun discussion. So yeah, I hope the best of luck for whatever what you pull. If you're aiming C2 Kazuha, then best of luck. If you're aiming for future character, best of luck. And if you like this kind of video, feel free to hit the subscribe button and like, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.